Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. Today guys, we're going to be jumping down to the charts to take a look at Zilliqa, see what's been going on most recently and what I would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you'll be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. If you haven't yet joined us in Discord, links in the description down below. Fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check it out today. And if you're looking for a little bit more from the crypto space, whether that is project reviews, trading, strategies around bulls and bear markets, check out the Patreon services as well, link in the description down below. Okay, let's get into this. Right, Zilliqa paired up with USDT hourly chart and Binance is the data source. 4.2 cent to 8.77, the accumulation zone. I was called a madman, all sorts of different names under the sun when I called this out when we were up the top end here. Now essentially, yeah, it's not great when people are kind of stuck into a project. They don't want to see it pull back down in the way that it has. But again, these are very natural corrections, right? These are things that you would expect to see based on human behavior. And that's exactly kind of what we're looking at, okay? So this zone that we are in right now is a fantastic zone to be in for Zilliqa, because I do think that there is, this is the accumulation point for the next big wave up, okay? And I've spoken about this a few times, but essentially, there's a couple of different ways to count it. I'm going to count it in the more bullish sentiment. There should be a move up after this regardless. How high that goes does change depending on how you count the waves. So I'm going to count it in the kind of the hopium way to start with, and maybe we'll change that later. But for now, this is what we're looking at. Now, I do think we've got a little bit more room to come down. Okay, I think 6 cent is actually the landing point. It's actually partway between the both of these, so 4.2 to 8.77. I think that is actually where we're going to end on a 1-to-1 ratio with our ABC structure. Okay, that puts us slap bang in the middle of this yellow box area. Okay, I've been talking about this for a couple of times. We talk about it a lot in our Discord server as well with our members. So yeah, this is definitely the accumulation point that I'm looking at. Okay, I'm thinking 6 cent is probably optimized, but anywhere around here, I don't think you're going to go too far wrong. As I said on a few other videos recently and in our Discord server with our Patreon members, essentially we look at the discounts that have been available to us, right, from all-time highs down to where we are, and we think, is that enough discount for us? Do we want more discount? Do we want do you want to see it kind of move down into those bear market low areas before kind of dollar cost averaging, or do we want to kind of start dollar cost averaging here and not worry about the extra few percentage points that you're not going to get to the downside when you're still talking about thousands of percent to the upside, right? I still think that we're in the later part of this cycle. And as a result, I think that there is still massive upside, but it is limited in comparison to where it was back in March of 2020. Okay, where me and Chris kind of got into a lot of projects in 2020, and we saw massive gains. I still think there's going to be gains to be had here, but we should also reflect on the fact that they aren't going to be as crazy as you think a whole entire bull run will be. Okay, so we want to kind of tell you this to make sure that you're mentally prepared when the time comes to sell, right? People often get a little bit too greedy and they don't want to exit out because they want to get a little bit more from the project, and unfortunately that's how a lot of people get stuck in these, right? So just reflect on where we are right now. Is this a good accumulation point for yourself? Okay, I'm not a financial advisor, right? I can't give you financial advice, but these are questions I think you should ask yourself, right? From where we are right now, if we take that high point, and let's see if I can get that, there we go, down to where we are here. Okay, we've lost 70% of its value. Do you think that that is sufficient enough of a retracement for you to be maybe dollar cost averaging? Are you waiting for, let's say, 75%? Okay, in which case you're coming down ever so slightly lower, or maybe you want to hold out for 80% crash, right, all the way down here. Now these are the areas where I think are the most typical kind of retracements for what we're looking for, and coming down to these lower ranges like 4.5 cent, these are all possible numbers. But if we're dollar cost averaging, do we really care too much about starting to dollar cost average at around this 70% drop? Yes, I still think there's a little bit more downside to come, right? We'll probably get closer towards the 75% as we think about 6 cent Zilliqa, and it is possible that we go down to 4.2. However, the lower that this goes, the higher the risk is that we don't actually hit those targets, okay? So as price continues to fall back down, the harder and harder it's going to become to reach those low levels. So when it comes to dollar cost averaging, we need to be aware that actually dollar cost averaging is buying small amounts over a large period of time to bring the average price of the token or whatever asset you're buying down, right? So buying or starting to accumulate at these higher points isn't too bad if we continue to buy on the way down. And if it does reverse up, you can of course look at that as a reversal point and dollar cost average just the beginning of it, and you'll still end up with a really good average price. Okay, so look at the strategy, think about what you want to do, answer these questions for yourself. Do you think a 70% discount is good enough to start dollar cost averaging? Are you waiting for 75%? Are you waiting for 80? Are you waiting for 90? Whatever percentage you're waiting for, is it worth the wait? Ask yourself this, because the upside is going to be significant regardless, okay? So what is that upside looking like? Well, I think the upside is looking like wave 3 to $1, okay? Wave 3 to $1. Now, I've got that actually a tad higher here, but it should be about $1. So I'm going to just lower that into about that range about here, okay? That's kind of the swing that I'm looking at. And I'm looking at this as a big wave 1 impulsive structure down. Where we are, this accumulation zone is a typical wave 2, okay? So I drew this out way before we started to see this correction, 4.2 to 8.7, based on the completion of this fifth wave. This was based on a wave 2 correction, and this is where we are right now. So if this is in fact a wave 1 and this is in fact a wave 2, we've kind of done exactly what we would expect for a wave 2 correction, and we could reverse out of here right away if we wanted to. I still think Bitcoin has to pull back a tad, and as a result, I do expect Zilliqa to pull back with it. Okay, perfect. This then leads us into a wave 3. Wave 3 is typically a 1.618 move of your wave 1. Okay, that puts it at $1. Well, only will $1 be key for wave 3, but it would also be a major resistance blocker. So I do not expect wave 3 to push past $1 in my opinion, but I would expect it to hit 95 to $1 and be done with a wave 3. Then we'd have a wave 4 pullback, retracement, where you'll see a little bit of a retracement, usually about 30 or so percent, and then you'd end up with another big push going up higher here, where we estimated this to be ending a wave 5 at about $3.78. Okay, so very, very significant moves to be had here, and I think it's important that we kind of reflect on, you know, what gains could be made here. We don't want to be too greedy about things. We want to make sure that we dollar cost average out of a market as we dollar cost average into the market. So think about these things, guys. I'm not here as a financial advisor. I'm here to kind of pose what I think is going on inside the charts. Give these as questions for you to ask yourself, and you can make maybe more informed decisions based on research that you do outside of this video. Okay, this video does not include everything about Zilliqa from a fundamental point of view, what they're building fundamentally, or any of that kind of good stuff. So make sure you do your own research and come to your own financial decisions. Essentially, I think we are likely to head into the 6-cent range. I think this is going to be a fantastic place to start. Dollar cost averaging is now down a little bit lower, anywhere between 8.7 and 4.2, which is why I highlight it as an accumulation zone, should be a zone where we dollar cost average, in my opinion. But that's just what it is, my opinion. And then obviously we'll look for the reversal and we'll look to come out of here. Now, moving up to $3.78 it's hard. It's not impossible, but it's going to take some to get there. Let's hypothetically say we do come down towards our 6-cent range and we start rallying from there. Moving up into the wave 3 high should be about 1,500%. That's pretty much aligned to where the rest of the crypto space is going to balloon up to, in my opinion. I don't think that's actually too difficult for Zilliqa to do, but it would have to be under the right structure. If we don't have the right structure in this wave count, then I would expect something. I think I would expect this to kind of be the end of the cycle and that being done, no 5th wave higher. So we'll have to monitor that structure coming out to make sure that it is aligned to my thinking. If we do, and it does, and it moves up nicely, then we could be talking about moving up towards this $3.78 area, and that's 6,100% in gains. Okay, so a very, very significant place to be. Again, nothing is set in stone, nothing is guaranteed, but these are the most probable moves that I think are likely to go on here based on the structure that we had previously. But as I said at the beginning of this video, that's the bullish sentiment, that's the bullish angle. It is also possible, guys, that we have something else going on here. It could be that actually we are not seeing this as an impulsive structure up, although it could be, and it could actually just be a 335 correcting pattern, okay? And it could be that actually we have an expanding flat. Now, I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's a probable move that's going on here. I see this as a very impulsive move, and I do think that this retracement is a wave 2, but we can't confirm that until wave 3 comes in. But I do want to kind of just show you that it is possible that we count this up slightly differently. If I just grab hold of this one, for example, this would be our W, this would be our X, and that would be our Y, for example. And that's a corrective pattern, and that then leads us into another correction. I don't think that is what's going on here, but it is a possible play. So I wanted to kind of just show you what that looks like, so you guys can be aware of what other alternative counting methods there are for Zilliqa. Essentially, I do think there's going to be a lot more selling pressure this time around. I don't think people are necessarily going to want to be staked up with their ZIL as it starts running again. I think a lot of people were caught off guard during the first run with waiting 7 days to get their stake out before they're able to sell. So watch this space. I do expect some interesting things to happen here for Zilliqa. I expect some insane gains to be made, whether or not we have just the standard 1500% or whether we go up to the 6000% gains, guys. I'm going to leave the video there. If you have found this useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so, you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all that said, done, and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.